One need is there to weave four parts of life. The whole of it calls for tears. Seneca. One of those things I like to think about often is about Caesar, and to be specific, when Caesar visited the city of Alexandria in Egypt. Here we get a very specific or a stark image of who Caesar was as a person. Caesar, who has coined the word, I came, I conquered, and I came, I saw, and I conquered, is feeling emasculated standing at the statue of who? Alexander the Great, the person that has practically conquered the entire world by the age of 22 or 23. So here, Caesar, who's fairly successful at the age of 27, who has made his name on the Senate, on his way to be the consulate, is feeling like a failure. Not because he actually is, just because, but because his definition of what making it, his definition of what success is, so high that he's feeling emasculated. He's feeling like a failure. And it paints a very good picture of who we are as people and what we do and how we define what success is in this world. I also think about this a lot in my own life. In this game of life that I'm trying to play, I often feel like a failure, comparing myself to figures that I adore or admire. Joining the 20s comes with its own bit of trauma. It's a time period in your life where your childhood fantasies just start becoming another fantasy and nothing more. One of my childhood memories is when I was in grade 7. I had a teacher called Mr. Sani. And he was, I think, my English teacher or communications teacher. And he gave us this exercise that said, I think I was in grade 7, so I would assume I was 13 years old maybe, or even younger. He gave us an exercise that said, what would you be or who would you be in 10 years, 10 to 15 years? And the exercise was we had to write what we were going to do, what we were capable of, and who we're going to marry, and everything else. And in that essay we had to write, I remember writing a very simplistic idea, in a way, a very realistic idea of who I was going to become. Most people in that class, I remember some people said they were going to buy 5 or 6 Lamborghinis, married to the most hot woman in the world, or one of the most successful rich people in the world, or something bizarre for the young mind. And yet, at that time, I remember thinking, no. In 10 years, it's not a long time from here. It feels like a long time, but it's not. I'm probably gonna be looking for a job. I'm probably gonna be either graduating or looking for a job. And yet, now it's been 10 years since that time. I'm about to be 23, and I think about that. Now, for me, standing here, 10 years from now, it's 32, and I think about what would my 32 would be, and it's exactly how my young brain worked. I would imagine what 10 years from now is going to be something so insane, so incalculable. And yet, when I reach it, I'm probably going to think, wow, 10 years is not that far. I probably over-exaggerated what would happen. It paints a very good picture, doesn't it? I just turned 22, and for the most part, I'm happy where I am in this life. But there is this itch in my head. This itch that consistently compares who I am to where people are. There's a saying in Amharic that says, Lagitam gitallo. Yeah, no matter what you achieve in this life, there is someone out there that can achieve more. And when you're trapped and racing to the top, it's very hard to stop and appreciate the scenery and the flowers on the way. So, I'm gonna give you advice, young blood. Take it with a grain of salt, but I hope it helps. Let's start. Advice number 1, don't try. Charles Bukowski had this saying that said, a poem that said, don't try. And in its essence, the poem talks about not doing something or not doing it if our intention for doing that thing is selfish. You want to do it for the money? Don't do it. You want to do it for the something you're gonna get. It might be about fame, it might be about women, or about something selfish about you. Don't do it. But why not? Why not pursue something for the money or these personal desires that we have? Mickey Johnson puts it in a very beautiful way. Let me say it. He says, if your intentions for doing something is often selfish, then when life hits you with something bigger than you, you're going to quit. And often great innovators, people that have done a lot of great things, often know this. In fact, there's a saying, I forgot who said it. It's actually very beautiful. It says, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And the idea is, if you're the representation of the people that came for you, so you're not doing it only for you, but the people that are behind you, the people that you stand for, you often have a better chance of survival than most people do. Nietzsche put it in a very beautiful way as well. He said, he who has a why often can survive anyhow. So whatever you're trying to pursue, it might be business, it might be personal goals, it might be even trying to excel in the corporate ladder. Whatever you're trying to do, do not do it for only a selfish reason. You have to have something bigger than what you're trying to do. And often that bigger thing would push you to do something bigger. Second advice, do it despite the outcome being different than you expected. Most people misconstrue the idea of effort. Most people think if you work hard enough, if you put in enough work, you're guaranteed to be successful. And I think Les Brown has this beautiful saying I always think about, and the saying goes like this: practice makes progress not perfect. And often society tells you practice makes what? Perfect. But that is absolutely completely wrong. Often what you're guaranteed is not perfection. What you're guaranteed in this life is progress. So when you start whatever thing that you're trying to do, there's a dream or there's a passion where it be like, I want to achieve this. Often in life, most people don't reach here. And that depends on your luck, that depends on the people that are around you, that depends on where you're born, socioeconomic policies and everything, a lot more things than you have no control over. But I promise you, if you put in the effort and if you're willing to put in your heart, your desire and everything into this thing, you'll make progress. You reach somewhere, maybe not here, but you reach here. You're guaranteed progress. People can tell you, not everyone that works out is going to look like a bodybuilder, but I promise you, if you start working out right now, your body's going to change. It may not be like the one you imagine in your head, where the idea, the perfect physique of a body, or a perfect physique of what a male figure is in your head, but I promise you there's going to be a change that you're going to experience. So the second advice I'll give you is, do it despite the outcome being different than you expected. My third and last advice to you is, don't forget to record and enjoy this life as you go through it. This game of life that we're going through, we often forget that to record and enjoy every single moment we're passing through, especially if you're passionate, if you're trying to do something. It's very easy to focus on the goal and forget the little things that happen within your life. And when you grow old, hopefully, you can look back and say, oh, I did this. And I promise you, often in life, it's not about like what you achieve. It's often about the stories that you create along. We all have seen a movie where the actor or the main character just gets better and just wins. Those movies are terrible to watch. Often the beautiful movies are when the character goes through ups and downs. And often a good storyteller tends to appreciate as he goes up across the ride and goes down through this game of life that we're all going through. So even if you don't make it in this life, I promise you, the one thing you're guaranteed is a good story if you're willing to listen and watch your life go through. So I would tell you, take as many pictures as you can, record these areas within your life that you're going through. So when this is all over, hopefully if you get to be old, you can look back and say, it was a fun ride. So these are my advices to you, young blood. Until